Welcome back to another episode of the Hollywood Bound Actor Podcast. It's Christine Horn, the booking magnet. I am so excited that you are here again. Whether you are watching on YouTube or listening on the audio-only version of this podcast, I want to welcome you. You're in for a treat today. I know I say that every episode, but every episode you are in for a treat. And today I'm sitting here like it's like a proud auntie, cousin, coach, because I want to introduce you to Ursula O Robinson. And before we came on, she told me that the O stands for what?
Only one, baby. Oh my God.
Ursula, welcome to the Hollywood Bound Actor Podcast.
Thank you.
A fun fact for you all, Ursula has been a part of the Hollywood Bound Actors community really since the beginning.
Right.
In 2017, 2018. We'll get into all the amazing things that you're doing. But first of all, tell me about who you are. Where are you from? And how did you even get into acting just tell me that, because I don't know.
Right. Well, my story starts with my aunts. Because, a family with a lot of kids, the oldest kids has kids and they grow up with the younger kids, right? So like my mom was the eldest. So she had kids and my was like a 10-year difference between my aunts and uncles, like my younger aunt. And so like, because she thought she was our boss. So she decided that we should do Christmas caroling. So my grandmother forced all of my siblings, it was like 8 of us, all of my cousins, and we had to go Christmas caroling. And then we had to sing it in front of the family at Christmas dinner. Then my other aunt decided it would be nice to add a nativity scene. So we took all my grandma's good linen, her Christmas linen, out the bathroom, tied it around our heads, and we did a nativity scene. So we started doing the nativity scene and singing songs, every Christmas. Then they said, oh, we need to add a talent. So everybody needs to have a talent. So then we added a talent to it. Now, of course, everyone got tired of it, but I kept doing the Christmas show even into college. So this is how I started acting. I started acting at Christmas with my family. I started writing poems and doing different things with my family. And then I started looking for outside things to do, working with taking drama classes in the public school system and doing those kind of things. And to add to all of that, my sister was a big fan of movies and television. She followed people, she was a fan. And so because my sister was the boss of me, she's my older sister, I had to watch whatever she wanted to watch. Okay. So I ended up watching, I was a tomboy, and I didn't necessarily want to watch sports, but I would rather be out playing with the boys and everything as opposed to sitting in the house. So when I did sit in the house, we would watch stuff like the Academy Awards, and we were watching the Tonys and all this stuff. My sister introduced me into this whole different world. And I can remember distinctly, I just have this picture, and I don't know if it's my picture or if it was a true picture of laying on the floor in my grandparents' house in the back room. My father he renovated their back porch and turned it into several rooms for them. So that's where we always hung as kids. And so on the back porch, my feet in the air, kicking in the air. And I remember watching the Academy Award show. Now, I'm not sure if it was the one with Sally Fields go, "You like me, you really like me." I'm not sure if it was that one, but that's the one I really remember. And I was like, yeah, I want to do that. And that was just something that was within me. And so that's how I started doing what I do. Yeah.
I love it. And I'm sure a lot of people, I can relate to curling up in front of the TV, just like watching those awards and then just being this magical, mystical thing. Like, it would be so cool if one day I can experience something like that, I love that. And just how many of you can relate to being, the entertainment for your family? I'm sure there's a lot of people who's like, yeah, that was me. But fast forward, you ended up being, you've had a lot of things you've experienced and done in life, but most notably, you have poured into many students and young people over the years as a professor. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, I've always wanted to do the acting, but I always loved teaching. My mother's a teacher. My aunt who came up with these great ideas, she was a professor at North Carolina A&T, and so I said on my mother's side of the family, the people were teachers or preachers. So I have a love of teaching because I started teaching with my mother, working in Head Start. So I had both of those ideas of things to do, but I really wanted to go into theater and to acting. And in graduate school, I met a agent, and the agent said to me, because of my weight and my face, I would have to wait until my face caught up with my weight.
Wow.
I think that's how she said it, and so it it discouraged me, and I think she was just speaking from, from her perspective, but it hit all my insecurities, and it just validated to me why I couldn't do this. So I decided to pursue the education part, the education and being a playwright. And at the time in graduate school, I had a best friend, and she was going to be the movie star, and I was going to be the great playwright
Okay.
and the great playwright and educator. Right, that's what I was going to do. So I started writing plays. I started writing plays in undergrad because we didn't have a actual. When I went to Shaw University, we didn't have an actual theater.
Okay.
We had a condemned trailer, and eventually they moved us to a house on the corner.
You gotta upgrade to the house
Yes, we
eventually.
got upgraded to a house. So we were building our sets in a garage, in a drive-in garage. And so like I was writing then, and I learned how to do everything. I'm a theater generalist, which means that I can generally do everything in theater, right? And that's a rare thing now, but this is what I teach my students, how to be theater generalists, because it
I love
empowers
that.
you to do everything, right? But anyway, so I've had all of that stuff, and I was looking for direction for Ursula. And my mother said, "Hey, you need a backup plan." So my backup plan was teaching,
Okay.
right? When I went to graduate school, I went to graduate school because my grandmother died, and everybody kept asking me, "Ursula, what are you going to do with your life? You're doing this theater thing. What are you going to do with it?" And at the time, I had just got a job so I could pay back these school loans. And I was like, I don't know. And I was like, oh, I need to go to graduate school. So I go to graduate school, still not thinking that I'm going to enter into the field of acting. But I knew that I wanted to work. This is the only thing I can do is performance and theater and the arts and that kind of stuff. I just couldn't do anything else. I know that about me.
Mhm.
Um, so I'm going along this way, and I end up as a adjunct professor at North Carolina A&T. I enjoy teaching. So I never want, when I tell my story, I never want people to think that I'm downgrading what I have done as an educator. I'm not, because there's a duosity about
Mhm.
me. Right.
Yeah.
So in the and from North Carolina A&T, I ended up at South Carolina State University. And at South Carolina State University, now at UNCG in undergrad and graduate school, I was writing and producing plays for African American women because I felt like our voice wasn't heard. And I've always been an advocate for women, and this is something instilled in me from my mother. So a lot of my early writings were about Black women and empower women. And when I got to South Carolina State as an educator, I was producing, they would, I could write plays and we perform them. And then I started my own theater production company, and I was doing all these things. And then at some point in time, I've been performing and doing different stuff for people and stuff like this. I created a one-woman show that I took on a little tour, and people love me to do it. And I'm about to resurrect that. It's called Skinny.
Yes.
And so I'm doing all these things, and I'm collecting accolades. I've won several awards for playwriting, and I won some awards as an educator, and I'm doing all these things, and then my mother dies,
Mm.
and I'm in charge of creating a conference for the South Carolina Theater Association. And I brought in Tammy Mack, and I brought in Andrea Craven, and I brought in Kel Mitchell for this particular conference. And here, one of my students had been trying to get into the business, and Andrea Craven is a casting director. And so Andrea picked him out of all of the people
Wow.
and said that, hey, he was one of the people that she felt was ready to go into the industry. And through her, excuse me, he started working on the game. And he started doing this. And according to him, because I consider him to be my son, according to him, he said that when I saw him doing the stuff, that there was a gleam in my eye, and I decided I wanted to get out there and do the
Okay.
thing.
Okay.
And his exact words when we to me were, Rob, that was his what he called me. He said, Rob, you're gonna have to do everything I say so that you can get into the acting field, right? So it was something happened. I don't know the exact moment that I decided that this was also part of my dream to
Mhm.
go ahead and let me do this. I'm trying to figure out how to do this. And well, God blessed me with some wonderful people. I met Arisha Connor Frierson,
Yeah.
and Arisha introduced me to this beautiful lady named Christine Horn. And I started taking
Shout out to Ursula.
classes.
Yeah.
I started taking classes with Christine. And it's just so funny because, your very first class at the time, and I tell people this, at the time, I didn't have the money to pay for the class. Even though, like, Ursula, you're a professor, honey. Let me tell you what professors get paid. Look it up. And so especially at a HBCU, but look it up. But anyway, I think it's the governor or somebody, they decided to give all of the teachers this one check. It was supposed to be a supplemental thing. Instead of giving us a raise, they would give us this check. And guess what? The check covered the amount for your class.
Hmm.
So I was
Wow.
like, look at God.
Look
So
at
I got into the class, and man, let me just tell you, my whole life and everything was expanded, and I learned so much stuff. And in your class, we were the first class. I
yeah.
think we were the first. I was part of that first class. And right after I watched the video where you talked about creating the environment,
Mm-hmm.
you talked about creating the environment, and I was like, and it clicked with me. And I had an audition for Justin Long. He was doing an independent film. And I had the audition like a couple of days after I went through the module for environment,
Mm-hmm.
and created a great environment. And the first time I did it, it was an audition to be somebody in the jail or whatever. And I sent that in. Then they sent back something. We forgot to cast this person, Ruth Gunderston, and whoever can get back a good audition in the fastest will get the role. So they sent this out to everybody who sent in an audition to be the lady in jail.
You're like, it's off to the races right now.
Right. But listen, because I had the whole environment thing down and I had some other things down, I did an audition in 30 minutes. I
Mm.
mean, taped it, edited, send it on, everything. And it was my first SAG gig. So
Yeah.
yeah, so
Oh,
it's like so many twists and turns and everything that led me to this moment, to meeting you, and and then because I remember the video that I did, and oh, I was crying in the video, and
yeah.
I
So
did
what? Before you get into that story, so Ursula has been in the community for a while. From one day workshops that you've taken with me, free classes. But the course she's talking about is my signature course, Book More TV, and it's that course is still around, very thorough. So many people have gone through it, but at the end of that course, that was during COVID, I think 2020, for that first group, I asked for testimonials from the students, those who, wanted to share their experience. And Ursula is still on the website to this day. Ursula gave such a powerful testimony. And yeah, she was moved to tears because you saw your own growth and your own journey. Because you were able to get past so many of your own roadblocks. I remember you and listen now, if you've never coached with me, I'm all love. However, I'm gonna tell you straight with love. And I
Right.
remember telling Ursula, like, when you decide, like, you have to truly believe in yourself. Ursula was doing like skits at the grocery store. Like, you were like, had your big toe in the water, but there was a leap that just had not happened internally, mentally.
Right.
You were not playing full out. There was just a roadblock that you eventually got over. And I mean, that's what makes me more than anything, more than any gig you book, not just you, any of my people that I've worked with, I get so inspired when I see the light go off for you, because that after there's no going back. You can't unlearn. So
Right. Right.
yeah.
And I think one of the first things you said to me was about Ursula, when you get tired of playing small, when you get tired of doing these things you're doing that make it like you're doing something, then you'll go into it. Because one of the things, for those of you who don't know how I was playing small, the casting director, Andrea Craven, because I had asked her to come to the event, we formed a relationship. She's so nice. She's so wonderful. But even though I was not in Atlanta, she trusted me to travel, to do all this stuff. So whenever stuff would come up, I would submit and she would put me in. And I end up getting, great stuff. In fact, the work I did on the movie Come Sunday helped me pay for my first headshot sessions. And so she was doing all these, putting me in places, and then I became featured background and started doing that. And then I was still hesitant about a whole lot of different things, but I was still trying to move forward in the way that I could move forward. But I wasn't confident
Yeah.
about what I was bringing to the table, but I was confident about one thing, that I can act.
Mhm.
Now, and that's what I say. I've never doubted my ability to be an actress. I had an issue with me being able to make the transition from theater to film was a big thing.
Yeah.
And I kept trying to figure those things out and how can I do this? And I didn't feel validated by what I was doing. So I was looking for someone, oh gosh, I'm looking for something or something to make me feel great about me doing all this scary stuff. Because
Yeah.
to me, it was kind of scary. But eventually I got over those things. Then I had to start working on confidence and
Mhm.
all these things you teach in your mindset. When you talk about mindset and different things, it's your confidence. I often had the same submissions that Arisha Conner-Frierson would have. And I would look at her audition, I would look at my audition. Excuse me, you can see I've been in the South so long. I have a little Geechee accent, so
Okay.
excuse me.
Good. We're here. We're
But I
here to
did a
we're
diphthong.
here to get the real you, honey.
Right. Yeah, this is real me. And so Arisha would do stuff and I would do something. And Arisha was so confident in what she put out and what she did. And I've learned that this is the confidence that you need to have, that whatever you bring to the table and whatever you put down on the table, be confident, because so many times as actors we want to be right.
Mhm.
And you had taught me, don't be right, do it, because whatever you do is going to work for you,
Right.
right? And so not in those exact terms, but we keep trying to figure out, what do the people want,
We have, and
what are
they half
they looking
the time
for.
they don't know.
Yeah.
They need you to do your job and make a choice. And
And
trust
make
me, and
choices and
yes.
show up.
Hmm.
Right. And show up. And so that was a lot of stuff that I learned. I'm so thankful that Arisha one introduced me to you, and that I have met a lot of great people in Booking Magnet. Oh my gosh, I've seen so many people in the group who are doing the thing and
Hmm.
enjoying a career, and they're not young.
Mm-mm.
And so part of me was like, where would I fit in? Where do I fit in? Being a plus size woman, where do I fit in? And I had so much feedback from people that I needed to change. Oh my God. I'm sorry, I had to roll back on that,
Yeah.
because this is just this thought. Yeah, here's a download for you. I felt like I had to change who I was in order to fit into this world. Because we always think of the world of television and film as a place where beautiful people are.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't consider yourself to be beautiful or the typical beautifulness and all this stuff, because I've been big all my life, so I've had to deal with the whole issues, the rejection, being ostracized because of my size, and then I internalize those things. But when you let all of that stuff go and realize that they're looking for real people being their authentic selves, then you will find that a whole door will open for you.
Ooh, that's a word. I have to pause because I know I know you are watching this or listening, having a hallelujah moment, shaking your head. And that this is why I wanted my students on this podcast, because you just spoke a word to somebody. And in this, whether you are big, small, tall, short, because it's about how you self-identify.
Right.
Because how many times we see somebody, oh my God, they're drop dead gorgeous, but that person is filled with insecurities and
Yeah.
and all of that. So it goes deep. And so that is a whole word about you just having to accept. First of all, it starts with self-love, is what you're
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah.
Self-love, but in belief in yourself.
Yes, and it is, and a lot of times when people think about self-love, because there's a lot, I'm doing some professional development and some other things and stuff to develop who I am as a person, and our idea of self-love, just from the work that I've been studying and reading, our idea of self-love sometimes is about physical things.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Getting your feet done, getting your hair done, making sure that you're presentable, and that's self-love. But what about your insides? Because you
Mm-hmm.
could go out into the world a dressed up mess, and the
Mm.
clothing doesn't matter, and the hair doesn't matter if inside you're dying.
Yeah, absolutely.
And a lot of us are self-loving our outsides and not self-loving our insides.
That is
And
so
that's,
true.
yeah, and that's what happens. So when we go through your program, your your methodology deals with mindset first,
That's what it starts with.
because
Number one.
yeah, with mama, right? So with that mindset, because if your mindset doesn't change, it's hard for you to accomplish certain things. There are certain things that will happen, and I know God opened doors for me while my mindset was still transforming and doing those things and everything. So the doors will open, things will happen, but will you get the fullness of everything until you accept yourself and love who you are? Doesn't mean you don't want to change.
Mm-hmm.
It just means you got to work on some things. And I'm still working on me. I'm
Yeah.
still discovering things and getting new ideas and working on stuff, so I'm still discovering who I am. And now that my world has changed a whole lot since I went viral several times, and with Tyler Perry's The Voice in the Black, and playing a role that, oh, I ate up. I loved it. I loved playing the role. But now oh gosh, it's a whole different ball game. And if I hadn't done some mindset work before these things happen, I could really be in the situations.
Yes. Well, I want to pause right there and get into that. I was headed in that direction, so I'm glad that you leaned there. It's very interesting because we talk about self-love, we talk about preparing ourselves. This industry, if you don't know who you are, and you allow the industry to tell you, it's a downward spiral, right? And whoever you are, the more attention and things come to you, is only going to make you more of who you are. And so knowing yourself, loving yourself, you have to be strong, because once you are thrust into a spotlight, it's like people forget that you're human. People forget
Yeah,
that you have feelings,
yeah,
that you can read comments and you can see social media.
yeah.
It's real. Most recently, so for those of you who don't know Ursula. Ursula's done a boatload of work, but most notably, most recently, at the time of this podcast in 2024, Ursula is the star of Tyler Perry's Divorce in the Black that premiered on Amazon Prime and was like one of their most successful like films to date. And you had from the moment the movie starts, Ursula's character is unforgettable. I don't want to give a spoiler if you have not seen it. If you have not seen it, watch it. But she's unforgettable, and immediately, caused virality. And coming up next, you're starring in Tyler Perry's Beauty in the Black.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me, and I know we've talked privately, but for what you can share before we go into the social media and the virality, tell me how the impact that working with Mr. Perry has had on your life.
Well, first of all, I've always wanted to work with Mr. Perry, and I'm sure there's like a billion other people who want to do it too. Because, but like going on set, and I let me just tell you, the first day on set, I have a scene with Megan Good.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm meeting Megan Good, Richard Lawson, Debbie Morgan, Joseph Lee Anderson, and and Tyler Perry, all at the same time.
Yes.
So as soon as I walked on set, Mr. Perry goes, he said, "What's your name again?" I said, "I'm Ursula. I'm playing Linda." Like, girl, he know he cast you. But I was like, I was so nervous, girl. I was so nervous. I had forgot my lines and everything. And
And
I
you know
went
he
over
moved
and I said,
fast. He
look,
moved
yeah,
fast.
because he moves very fast. And
Yeah.
I said, Megan, is that my line? He said, yeah, you say so and so. I said, oh, okay, let me. I said, Ursula, get this together. Okay. And it's the last scene in my last scene in the movie where I'm having this tussle with her. And after I did it, it was some lady who was playing a doctor, and she was a background person. And she turned around, she told me, "Girl, you did that." The script guy came out talking about, "Girl, you like, oh, you did that." And then Tyler Perry said to me, "Oh, Miss Linda, that come to you too easily." And right, so like here's all the validation you've been waiting for
Yeah.
happened in this one moment, right? Everything. So okay, Ursula, you can play in this field. You can do this. And I guess after that, it was just been fun and learning. Yeah, he moves very fast.
Mhm.
And but what I understand about him is because I've been a playwright, producer, and performer. So
Mhm.
I know the mindset that you have to have in order to do this kind of work, right? So he's
Mhm.
taking the model that he perfected with producing plays. And it's
Mhm.
how a lot of what they call either grassroots or inspirational playwrights, uh,
Yes.
those people, that's how they work, because you end up producing your own work. And
Mhm.
so he has this mindset where he is utilizing all of his skills to make all of these things happen. And he actually really loves people,
Mhm.
because he could stop doing films
Oh.
and everything now and go live on his island. He owns several islands. He could, I think he does. I know he knows at least one. He could go to his island. We could never hear from him for the rest of his life, and he would never have to worry about anything.
Mhm.
Right? So
Mhm.
why does he do it? And he says he does it because of their people that would not have the opportunities if he were not there.
Yeah, it's the truth. It's the truth.
And so, and however you feel about whatever, he's a humanitarian. He loves people, and he's funny. He's really funny. And he's warm and inviting. And the people on the set, girl, let me tell you something, honey. I have never had this experience on a set. It is like a family. The people embraced me,
Mm.
and they, in Divorce I'm Black, if you look at the credits, I'm really not in the movie that much, but because of what I do in the movie is so pivotal,
Mhm.
that it raised me up some levels or whatever it's supposed to be in a day player, or I'm not sure of all of the terms, but when I was on set, I was treated like a principal. I was treated like nobody ever treated me bad. I really never had a bad set experience, just to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
But on his set, the people make you feel like family. So I once people found out that I was a professor,
Mm-hmm.
then I had offers for people to want to work with my students. People did stuff for me. There was like the hairdresser. She was like, Miss Ursula. I was filming for Beauty in Black, and we had our award show. And so I had to leave. We filmed late that Friday night. So I had to get up Saturday and go to come back to North Carolina, to South Carolina, excuse me, for our award show. Well, the hairdresser on set who was doing my hair did this a nice 40s look to my hair
Mm-hmm.
for the award show.
Oh,
And
how
I was
nice.
like, oh, I got to pay you or something. She said, no, you pour into these kids, let me pour into you.
Oh, that is so
Yeah,
sweet.
isn't that sweet? But that was the
That's
attitude of everyone on set. There, everybody is about let's get together and make this thing happen. And while we do it, we have fun. And it's fast paced. It really is.
But
It's
you
really
know, you were
fast paced.
prepared for that. I,
Yes, I
I,
was.
I prepared y'all for all of that.
Yes,
Shout out to Lenny Thomas, who's part of the Hollywood bound actor community, who's been a star of Ruthless for seasons. You know, I've like all the years when I tell my students, like, I want to work with Mr. Perry one day. I'm like, okay. Now you talking about you have problems memorizing lines. I need you to work on that because he will shoot a feature in 9 days. He will shoot a series in 12. So
yes,
you got to stay on it,
yes.
be on
You
it.
got to be on top of it.
Yeah.
And not only just that, but when you got to understand his style, the way in which he approaches the things. And guess who came to give me my lesson? The same young man that was telling me that I had to do everything, my son. And he came because he's worked with Mr. Perry a lot. And so he came to tell me, now, this is what you need to do, Rob. This is, you do
What
this
a
and you get
full
on that
circle
set.
moment.
You
What a
got to do this. And I was like, okay, baby. And I just received everything he had to pour into me. I'm like, I know that boy.
well, that was
Like,
a
but
nice, that was a nice full circle moment for sure.
it definitely was a full circle moment. And so what I like too about them is that they work efficiently and try to make everything happen for you in the best way that it possibly can. Working with Mr. Perry has firmly solidified my love with set life, even to the point where one of the makeup artists would put lotion on me. People seem to think that I have a problem with ash. I don't really think that I do, but yeah, like, so I was a little ashy, but I didn't think I was ashy. I just thought I was just light skinned.
Mm.
And they were like, "Oh no, Miss Ursula,
I
Miss
mean,
Ursula."
you
What
gotta
he
take
calls
care
it,
of
Miss. Look, he said, "Miss Linda, we got to take care of this ash." And that's when I developed the term a lotionologist.
it.
And so he became our lotionologist on the set.
Okay.
And he would make sure that he would grab these elbows, these elbows, and he'd do like this and massage me at the same time. I'm like, where do you get this? Where can
Queen treatment, queen treatment. And that's when we
Queen
say, that's when we
treatment?
say in our community here in Hollywood Bound Actors, we say thank you more, please.
Thank you more, please. Yes.
Okay, before we get back to today's episode, I need to make sure that you know about Book More TV. That is my signature course for actors that teaches you how to book more TV. Listen, I know it can be very confusing on how to get that first co-star, that guest star, or even that series regular role. And I want to take that confusion out for you. This is a 5-week course, a self-paced course that I will walk you step by step through what I do to book more television. And get this, there is lifetime access to live monthly Q&As with me and our Book More TV community. You do not want to miss this. Our community is strong and our students are working, and I want you to be one of them. Visit bookmoretv.com and get registered today. Speaking of thank you more, please, did you have to audition for Beauty in Black, or did Mr. Perry say, this is what's next for you? How did that work?
So For Beauty in Black, I did an audition, but then they had a callback, and I went to the callback, and I kept looking for the older women because the casting for this was she's a woman in her 50s, and there
Mhm.
was nobody my age. It was just these young girls. And once you see the show, you see what they were wearing, and they were
Mhm.
wearing clothes for their particular roles and everything. And so I was just like, well,
It was
who am
you.
I competing against? Who am
You
I? Who's my
herself,
competition?
me, myself, and I.
Right, right. And later I got it because, and then I said, Arisha, because Arisha is like my like she's not just my I think she's a destiny helper. She really supports me in so many different ways, and I'm so thankful for her.
And I know
Uh,
you keep hearing about this Arisha. If you listen to season 3, look, I'll put it in the show notes. We have Arisha has been on the show before, I think in 2022. So we have a juicy episode with Arisha. So you're like,
yeah,
who was this woman? You can meet her if you go back to one of the episodes.
right, and she is awesome. She's awesome sauce. So I called Arisha. I was like, Arisha, there is nobody here. She said, "Cause it's your role. Cause you got it." And yeah, but I'm gonna need a notification. I'm gonna need some notification. I'm not gonna go blah blah until I get all the, I get all the receipts. I
Yeah.
need the receipts for this, baby. Right? Okay. And then I was just like, oh my gosh. And so while I was there, I met people from The Voice in the Blood.
Hmm.
So it's a core group of people from The Voice in the Black that are in Beauty and Black.
Crossover.
So yes.
So,
Right.
semi crossover.
Right. Yeah. And so it's a circle. It was five of us
Hmm.
and who worked in that. And then we worked in this. In fact, Taylor Paulador, who will play in Divorce in the Black as the best friend, is now the lead
Yeah,
for
she,
Beauty and
for those
Black.
of you who don't know
And you know her.
yes, from Snowfall, my cohort, my crime, my road dog. I'm so proud. I mean, truly, I'm so proud of her and so proud of you. And just I can't wait to see it. Beauty in the Black airs on Netflix. Part 1 airs on Netflix October 24th, I believe.
Fourth, yes.
2024. Be sure you check it out on Netflix. And you will see Ursula. You know what I love more than anything as we take a full circle journey in this conversation is, and what I love about no matter what people have to say, whether you like Mr. Perry or not, his work or not, is the opportunity and for me representation. And so even having this conversation earlier about, oh, this person told me my face needs to catch up with my body, and like, and people not pouring in, like what is for you is for you. It is, and we don't know when that's going to happen. We don't know when,
That's it.
where your journey is taking you and what time the breakthrough is going to happen.
Right.
Like the seeds you have been planting, not only in your own career, but in the lives of so many other people, they get you the harvest. It's harvest season for you, Ursula,
Yes.
and so I'm
Yes.
so nice to watch. But sometimes we watch people in their harvest season and be like, well, when am I gonna come? Well, that your journey, I don't know when you planted your seeds. That's your situation,
Right.
you know? And so for me to see you as a leading lady, and I don't care what the billing is in my world, Ursula O. Robinson is a leading lady, and that's what Mr. Perry has given you the platform to do. And there's just only more from here, and keep leveraging it. Keep leveraging it. I don't know if you saw my thing. I was like, I hope this is work on getting a manager, Ursula. Let's get to LA. Like, some of those things, I'm always here as a resource for those next level things.
Right.
Don't,
And it's where I'm there now. I need a team.
yes,
And these
yes,
are things you told us. Save your coins. Save your coins. You're gonna need a publicist. You're gonna need a manager. Just be ready for these things. They're gonna happen. And
yes,
remember this conversation we had, I think it was doing one of our Saturday calls. Get your red carpet ready.
yes,
And so I went to my first red carpet.
yes, you did. In New York City,
And
right? Was it New York,
yes, New York City. Let me tell you, they pulled up to pick me up from my house, drive me an hour to the airport.
right? Yes,
I was like, it was everything was first class all the way. And it was beautiful. Um, Wait, let me just tell you that at the cast party or the party afterwards, well, first of all, just being there on the red carpet with the
Magical.
names, with major names. And most people didn't, people didn't know who I was.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so, yes.
So
And so
they
when
saw
I
the movie,
walked
right?
up,
Because
yeah.
it's before the movie plays, so they don't have no clue. I know after
So
the party, it was something else.
yes, honey, after the party, it was a African American female photographer that waited for me.
Yes.
And she just kept snapping pictures, snap, 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 and this and everything. And I had gotten advice from one of my coaches was saying, Ursula, they like to take pictures of big girls. They love the plus size women on red carpet for some reason. And so I was like, okay. And then too, right before all of this went down, I don't know if you remember, I think her name is Danielle Pintock, who plays
Danielle
on
Pinnock.
Ghost.
Danielle Pinnock. She
Pintock,
plays twice.
yes, right, right, good. Because she remember she came and talked to us. Yeah,
Yes.
years ago, she came and talked to us. But right after my beautiful queen, they won the award, right? Remember, she won an award the day you're talking about. It is time for
Mhm.
us black girls. It is our time.
You sure
And
did.
I was like, yeah, I'm celebrating with her. And then next thing you know,
That was divine. I believe divine joy. Yeah.
and when she got, oh man, and I love her work, and I love Danielle's work, and I love that she does the funny stuff and everything. But she just put out this look like it was a call to all of the women of color
Mhm.
and thick thigh nation. This is our time, honey. They have recognized our thick thighness, and we belong everywhere. There's room in
Yeah.
every seat in America for these thick thighs, boo.
Listen, there is
So, yeah, and it
because
was just
it
beautiful.
is a magical night. I was so excited to see you and for you to get to experience that. And it's first of many. You'll have the Beauty in Black premiere will be soon, right? So
Yes,
it'll be that, right? And you
yes,
be ready for that
and
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 keep.
do yeah,
And so just, the coach in me is just gonna say publicly and for everybody else take notes, these moments don't last always. They don't last forever. You must capitalize on the moment so that it creates more moments. It's easy to feel in the moment that because it can be overwhelming, it can be a lot all at once, but then it can get quiet. So just make sure you keep doing, I know you're doing, keep doing your press, keep doing all the things, keep connecting, connect with, just let things marinate and get you to the next open door. That's the biggest piece of advice I will continue to give you and everyone else listening. Talk a
yeah,
little bit about, because I know we have to wrap soon. I do want to talk about, because we can sensationalize viral moments and attention, right? But talk a bit about, because again, people have strong opinions about Mr. Perry, people have strong opinions about the movie, whether they like it or not. People have, and your character was so shocking in Divorce in Black and so memorable. And so you did go viral, so many moments. What was that like? And how have you been navigating that? Because I know where there's funny, oh, we're so proud of you comments, there's some derogatory, mean comments also. So tell me a bit about that.
yeah. Okay, so like I went to bed on July 10th, just the drama lady in town, right? Most people know me as the drama lady in town. It's a small town that I kind of live in. And so when I woke up on July the 11th, which is when it premiered, to being viral. I was already viral by the time I woke up.
Wow.
So and I woke up and I heard this ding, and I look at my text messages and my cousin's like, "You're all over TikTok." And I was like, okay. So I go, and the first thing I do, I see her on TikTok defending me. And I like, don't pay attention to these people. Don't follow down into that rabbit hole of trollism or whatever, the negative things. And so at first it was very like, oh my God, I can't believe this. Like you've been waiting all your life for this moment, right? But what does it mean? Where does it lead into?
Mhm.
Well, this is what it leads to. I'm getting a lot of interviews, getting a lot of attention. I'm bringing a lot of attention really to the school, to the university that I work at, because I share this attention with my students because part of this journey, and I know we talked about this early, and I just want to drop this in. Part of what I discovered in my conversation with you, which they'll see on your website, is that I was empowering everyone to live their dream, but I was not living mine.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to open myself up and say that this was my dream, because I didn't want to say I'm over 25, and I didn't want to say at the age of over 25 that I hadn't realized all my dreams. I got plenty of things on paper.
Yeah.
I got degrees, I got accolades, I got stuff. I'm in several different organizations. I'm a history maker, but I hadn't made history of my own dream. And so how dare you, Ursula? And I'm not gonna cry. How dare you empower others to live your dream and not live your own? And so when all of this happened, what came back to me is what someone said. They said, God is giving you everything you asked for.
Mm.
And I was like, I asked to take my clothes off in the church. Did I ask to do?
You didn't know
No.
the
What
most.
he was giving me, right? Spoiler alert if you didn't already know. But what he was giving me was this platform. Despite everything that I've gone through in my life, I always knew I was going to be famous. In fact, when I did bad stuff, I would do it in somebody else's name. Because I'm like, you don't want them to dig this up and find this out when you become famous. And I don't know where that thought came from. I don't know what it is, but it has stayed with me for a long time. And I am careful about stuff I do because I'm going to be famous.
Mm-hmm.
And
So July
somewhere,
11th, July 11th
yes,
comes.
and it is. You talk about manifestation, but it's just like you said, it's that door opening. So now I'm recognized a lot of places. A lot of people want me to do things. As one of my other coaches that I work with, as he said to me, I work with people to help me with coaching on specific things, like on my auditions. He said, "You're no longer one of us." I was like, "What?" He's like, "No, you cross over." So now things are different. The roles that I can pick are different. The things that they send me are different. I get a lot of requests from people. And I know a lot of people. I get a lot of requests from people. No, am
Also,
I?
I also need to borrow $8,000 also. Don't
Yeah.
forget that. Because I know you're
Yes.
rich.
Right. And this is what they have said. And I had someone call and tell me, say, "Oh, the word on the street is that you got money." I say, if I had money, I would not be one in this city, and I would two not be working. Because I still have to work. I went viral, but the viralness did not hit my bank account.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that was something too, because when your fame and your bank account, when they are coincide, now that's something.
Yes.
But a lot of times what people don't know, and I've said this to somebody, some of the people at my church, and it was like, "Oh, we didn't know this. We thought that as soon as someone gets viral, that they had the money to go with it." And I like, no, a lot
Song
of
is
people made
song.
money off of my face, like they do you, and they had taken your image where you're performing, and they put something on the top of it, and it goes viral, and it gets them this and stuff, all the stuff like that. But it doesn't necessarily happen for us. So with
Yeah.
those of you who want to call me to ask to borrow money or whatever, and I'm gonna let you know that banks are still open.
Listen,
Banks
I,
are
I
open.
I joking, I joke, but I'm not joking. People, the lay person, listen, us actors out here, the first time your cousin, auntie, cousin Pookie and them see you on anything, could be co-star, could be two lines. They gonna think you got that coin. Right. And whether you do or don't, that's really not the point. The average person has no idea how much actors make and has no idea that even when you book a job, you don't know when you're going to work the next job. And then,
Yeah.
it's like I want you to imagine you got paid today on this Friday, but you don't know when you get another paycheck. So tell me how you're going to just tell me how you deal with that. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So like it's
Okay.
people don't get that part. I love that you have taken it in stride because it's a lot at once. Lord knows when I was on Snowfall, I made the mistake a couple of times of looking at comments.
Oh, yeah.
Because at first it's harmless. You're like, oh, people are watching the show. What they saying? And then it's like, oh, yeah, she is messy. Oh, yeah, and then then people start coming for you. People start really talking about you. Like, what she got on and what look at her look at her body and I can't believe this and she's so ugly. You're just like, oh. And then
Yeah.
I realized if I've had close people say, Christine, stop. You can't
Right.
do your work as an artist. And people close to me have had to tell me and remind me again, the rest of the world who just absorbs television doesn't know the line between the human being and the
Right. And the
character,
person,
like the
right.
Ursula Christine and the character. There's no line. And because what I've learned also through people who love me and talk life to me is there's not a lot of empathy or sympathy for you. Like your feelings don't matter a whole lot. Like if you don't want to be talked about, like don't be on the TV.
Look, and the head roll and everything. The
That's
head
that
roll
energy.
within and everything.
Right.
And,
And it's
and,
so
and
funny because it's like and I've received this kind of energy toward me. So I'm speaking from this place, but it's interesting in the same thought, but it's like you're enjoying the art that I've put out there. You curled up on your couch. You paid your subscription fee to that streaming service to watch me, to watch this beautiful group of artists, these producers put together this art for you, and then you can just honestly, just sometimes people just will shit on you and troll on you. It is so wild. And so for those of you who are like, one day I can't wait, just keep focusing on the art and the work that you're doing and be proud of the work that you're doing, because you'll get love, but there's also the hate that can come on the other side of that too.
right. It was. And I got some hate. There was a strong comparison between me and Monique, and people did whole memes and all kind of little stuff about, oh, they got to be sisters, they got to be this, that, and stuff like that. And then it was just, oh, it was a lot. And if I had allowed myself to go down into the rabbit hole of what people think on that, I receive the love. I respond back to people. I try to keep, my fans engaged and to do this.
Come
But
on,
I
fam.
had to,
Come on,
yeah, yeah.
fam.
Yay. And so I had to really make sure that when it got too ugly, to back away
Yeah, yeah, because you
and
got
to
to protect
protect
yourself.
myself.
Got to
Right.
protect
And I
yourself.
had to protect myself. But now I have family and friends who want to send me every shot that everybody has put out there. And I tell people, stop fighting these people. Because I
Yeah,
have people who will show up. And I was like, you don't have to defend me. You don't have to do this because they don't really know me.
yeah, they don't
And
know
you
you.
got, yeah, and you got to keep that in mind. And then you got to also keep that in mind too, that you can't let the praise throw you out of place too. Because the praise can throw you out of place also, because you can start to believe everything. Oh man, they should do da 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 da. You should do da 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 da, and it should be this, that, and the other.
Yeah,
What I find is that what hot water would do is, like you said, it'll bring out the essence of whoever you are, right? But it'll
mhm.
also show you who the people are around you.
Absolutely,
The hot
absolutely.
water will boil, honey. It will
Yes,
boil, and when you boil rotten stuff will stink. And when you
absolutely.
boil something good, it'll taste good. But the hot water on rotten,
It's the truth. We're about to get out of here. I have two short questions for you. Yes, I totally get these. Like, stop sending me the things. Like, I don't need any more Mabel memes. I've seen them. Seen them. Okay, we've seen them.
honey, Mabel was something else, honey. Oh, when you turned to the wall, I was done. I said,
Let me
oh,
tell you, but again, it's that thing. But being in town, walking around LA or Atlanta, like I'm not Mabel. I am Christine Horn. Okay.
yes.
Yeah. Before we go, the last two things I have for you. One, we talked about a lot. As you can see, this is why I love Ursula. We could talk and talk and talk forever. But what would you say you have learned, the biggest thing you've learned about yourself in this process of you being an actor in total? Like not just this moment of Tyler Perry in this movie and virality, but just about yourself in this journey that you've shared. What have you, the biggest thing you've learned about yourself?
I learned that God didn't forget about me,
Mm,
that the dreams and the prayers that I prayed as a child were not forgotten.
mm,
And that means more to me than a whole lot of things, is that I had desires and dreams and stuff as a kid, and I changed it around because of people and circumstances and things. And then God waits till now to bring back around all of this stuff. I had given up when I met you. I had given up on trying to be an actor because I felt like my fame and everything that I was desiring was going to come from my writing. And I just refused to give room to this other part of me because I was scared.
Mm-hmm.
But as I say to everybody, I know I said this to you, I have been shaky about a lot of things in my life, but I never been shaky about my acting. I never ever thought that I could not act. And so and then it's just as I got better and better with it, as I developed it more, as I matured as a person, my acting matured and
Mm-hmm.
everything. And I think through this journey, if I could say to anybody anything that you could take from this interview,
But that was the next thing. That was the next thing. What word of advice?
God is not forgotten about you.
Mm.
Your dreams matter.
Mm.
But can God give you your dream in your current mindset?
Mm.
Can God give you your dream where you are? Because if you're in the corner hiding, the dream is going to walk in the middle of the room. It's going to walk in the door and it's going to walk through the house. But if you're in the corner hiding, your dream is going to miss you.
Mm.
And I'm thankful to you, Miss Christine, for the work that you've done and for what you do to speak into the lives of actors and artists and people in general. Thank you for the platform that you created that gave me the tools to move on. I'm thankful for the community you created because I'm telling you, just some of those women in there have been so inspirational to me.
Yeah.
They have been, and they cheer me on. They, I know they're praying for me, and I know that they want me to succeed. And they would, but not just me, but everyone.
Yeah.
So I'm thankful for the foundation coming into your class. I was at first, I was like, I don't need a coach. I'm a coach. I'm a coach myself. And my experience with you is that coaches need coaches.
Just like therapists need therapists.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, coaches need coaches,
Mm.
and and through the work that I've done with you, it's just a great foundation, and it just answered a lot of questions for me, and it put me on a pathway to some great things. So I'm thankful for what you do, and I am thankful that the world has a Christine Horn, so that she could teach us about not playing small, showing up as your authentic self
Mm.
and living a life that you want to live. So
Yes.
even if you want to be an actor, right? Because you got a wonderful journey. You took some nice twists and turns, and you had to make hard decisions to come through for yourself. And I think that if and look, because I keep leaving you with stuff because I got a whole lot to say. Live your dream, period, point blank. Live your dream. Stop letting your dream walk in the house and miss you.
Yeah.
Because if you look at it, think about how many times you could have done something different when you were on Broadway. And you had to get sick and tired of the whole Broadway thing because you was on the Lion King. You were doing all this, you know.
Yeah.
Who wants to give that up? But you wanted more.
Yeah.
So that meant that you had to make some changes. You had to let go of a check. That's why I tell you, a check
Okay.
can what? A check can ruin your dream because the check will make you comfortable and you don't want to leave.
Yeah. Trust
And
me, I know.
listen, I tell my kids a check is dangerous. And if you're getting a check in a place that is not where you're supposed to be,
That's
that's, yeah, that's even more dangerous. So don't worry about the checks. It's if it's your destiny, you will figure it out and you will work it out.
yeah.
I tell you, the governor had to pass a whole amendment to give me that money to pay for the class.
Listen, but I would dare say that it was a good return. You got your return on investment.
Mm-hmm. A good return on my investment.
Okay.
Yes, honey.
Listen, and
So
that's
now I have a permanent coaching. I have a permanent community. I have formed bonds with people who I will be with for the rest of my life.
I love it. And
Yes.
and
Thank you.
you're just getting started, my dear. I know you some of you are gonna have to play this episode back, you know. Something you said, about will you be ready? Will you be ready? And it's sometimes we forget, it's a great saying that I've learned in my personal development. Who must you become to have the life and to live the life that you desire to live? It will just require change within you. The you that is right now may not be the version of you that can handle what's gonna come.
Right.
Because
Right.
when it shows up, it can be a lot. And so
Yeah.
having some foundations in place is so crucial. Ursula O, OMG, only one Robinson. Thank you for gracing us with your presence. If you only listen to this, I highly encourage you to come to the YouTube channel just to watch it, to feel and see Ursula. But I truly, let me say this, I am so proud of you. I'm so excited for you. I am excited for what is next and all to come. I'm your biggest fan, yelling at the TV. My boyfriend be like, "Do you know everybody on TV?" Yeah, that's my client. That's my like, yes, that's me. That's what I'll be doing when I'm watching television and at the movies. It's sickening. But thank you more, please. Thank you more, please. That boogie magnet energy is all up in the room. And just like me, you continue to pour into lives of people. And we're going to enjoy the harvest season because you deserve it and you are worth it. Just like all of you at home watching and listening, thank you so much for watching another episode of the Hollywood Bound Actor podcast. Remember that you have a gift that the world needs to see. So don't cheat yourself and don't cheat us of that gift. Until next time, we'll see you in the next episode and continue to shine bright like the star that you are. Peace.